Out of the four big gaming platforms, Steam is the one that probably comes the closest to being as much of a clusterfuck as the App Store or Google Play. All it takes is $100 and votes from your friends, and you can get literally anything on Steam. This means that everything from preachy walkie simulators to asset flips to games made by weird fetish communities can be released on Steam. I mean, shit. A Cub artist got their game greenlit on Steam. And if you don't know what I mean by Cub, let's be real here. You'd be better off wishing you never knew in the first place. While Valve is planning on ditching Greenlight and raising fees to get games on Steam, let's be real here. Steam Greenlight gained a poor reputation for this reason. It was essentially a dumping ground for whatever crap someone with $100 thought was a good idea to sell on Steam. And let's be real here, if I wanted to make some money, I could shit out a game in Unity that panders to a specific group and sell it for money on Steam. And lately, one of the dumb trends in indie games has been pandering to or pushing the viewpoint of rich left-leaning hipsters living in big gentrified cities, likely off their parents' money, where the rich get richer, the laws are written by the feelings of sensitive Tumblr snowflakes, and the poor have to go elsewhere, live on the street, or in some shitty commune like the one that burnt down that night in Oakland. One such game is Night in the Woods. Now, this game earned 200 grand on Kickstarter and took over 3 years to make. And I didn't even care about this game until a friend pointed me towards negative attention this game was getting from other people who weren't completely in the Tumblr circle. And well, I was interested in this game because I wondered just how bad could this game be. Now, it turns out the developers are in bed with the far left. Most notably with animator Scott Benson using a hipster Tumblr-influenced art style, making a video whining about so-called nice guys 4 years ago on Vimeo, and several months ago defending Anti-Fat, a domestic terrorist group, while defending and pushing for normalizing violence against the opposition. Ouch. But who knows? With the 8.7 out of 10 this game got from IGN, the 8.75 out of 10 from Game Informer, and several Kotaku articles promoting this game, you know this game is going to be good, just like Gone Home was. Did I mention that this game was promoted on Killscreen 9 different times? After all, the gaming media told you to buy it, so you should have kindly bought it or else you're a shitlord. Anyways, let's talk about the game itself. Night in the Woods is a video game made in the Unity engine for Windows, Linux, and of course it has versions for macOS and the PlayStation 4 because that's just what the PlayStation 4 needed. Another game that reinforces the PlayStation 4's reputation as the indie station for. The game features 2D Tumblr-influenced graphics with the art direction of a Tumblr artist's webcomic. Everything from the tweening-like animations, to the color selection, to the size of the text boxes, makes me feel like I'm playing a moving version of someone's webcomic where stick figures just stand in their huge text boxes, and it gets annoying to look at real fast. At least it runs at 60 frames per second on my overclocked AMD FX 8350 desktop with an RX 480 video card, and I was able to use my mechanical keyboard to play the game. However, the game does support controllers. Let's talk about the writing now, since that's one of the most important things about this game. The game takes place in a small dead-end town, which could be speculated by some tinfoil connect-the-dots type person to be a desperate attempt by some rich urbanite to push his big city far-left ideology on a typical blue-collar small town. You know, the kind of town that didn't vote for Hillary last election, and well, there's some shady shit going on in this town that, you know, people don't just leave already. And well, the story is kind of like the creator's sob story. 20-something quits college and goes back to a dead-end town where all the jobs are gone and they don't seem to realize how much of a bad idea that was. The quality of the writing is part preaching, part random inane bullshit, and part the same brand of, whoa, quirky random feels XD humor that originally found root in 2000s webcomics and YouTube collectives, and went mainstream with the rise of Tumblr and shitty anime cons. You want preaching about how it's cool to punch people you disagree with? This game has these rants. You want random humor? This game has it. You want some random ramblings about how the game character broke the fourth wall and sees himself in the video game world? This game has them. You want rants that feel like the characters are mouthpieces for the creator's opinion? This game has them. It's already not aging well, and in a few years this will be seen as a snapshot of the iPhone era if anything goes to their Steam library and finds this game and plays it. The era when 20-somethings coddled from the world acted like they ruled the world and knew what was best for everyone from the comfort of their rich, left-leaning, mega-hive liberal city. The fact that the creator is projecting his opinions onto the characters makes the writing feel forced, and I mean as forced as a 90s anti-drug PSA or Christian targeted movie. Now, here is where Night in the Woods suffers most. The gameplay. Now, by now you probably know about the whole walking simulator genre, which features classics such as Gone Home, and other lazy indie games inspired by its formula. Basically, the gameplay consists of walking up to objects and hitting the button and hearing bits and pieces of the story, and that's all the gameplay is. This game does that, but with a twist. It's a 2D platformer with barely any gameplay to get in the way, that is, until it does. You walk up and push a button to read this game's bland-ass Tumblr tier story and platform in between those parts. The platforming in this game is horrible and confusing, and I fought with the game trying to figure out where the fuck I'm supposed to go early on. I kept jumping in the same area over and over again, missing it, and the game gave me no idea where to go. And then I found out that I had to jump while pushing the button like over and over again, but the game doesn't give you a tutorial on this. Instead, it does it through putting it in the middle of the game's bland-ass dialogue instead of giving you a tutorial like most games should. That is poor game design right there. Technically, this game is rough around the edges in some areas. When I hit Alt-Enter to get full screen during the first part of the game was still internally running at 720p, and I had to go into options to get the full 1080p screen resolution from the game. The game also recommends an i5 for a 2D game, and get this, it only has one auto-saving slot, and to restart the game you need to go into options and delete your save file. Amazing! I guess here's the deal. I know I never thought I'd be saying this several years ago, but personally I miss when the trend in indie gaming was retro platformers. Because this game has so little gameplay, it's making me wish that era comes back. I mean, sure, it wasn't a great era either, but at least those games had some gameplay. I mean, because after all, they were like remakes of old Nintendo games. This game doesn't. This is a video game, not a visual novel, not a Tumblr comic, and I feel this game would work better as some Tumblr webcomic than it does a game, because chances are the target audience would actually care about it, and one less gameplay-less game would be on Steam. And looking at why people are talking about this game, well, there should be a term for these kind of games. The games where people talk about how, wow, this game is so quirky, random, wacky, with feels. XD, it's so cool. I'm gonna draw fan art of this game and post it to my Tumblr page. Oh yeah, Game of the Year, 8.7 out of 10 IGN. And where this random shit takes priority over the gameplay. 2015's Undertale was a good example of this, with that game going from being the popular indie game of the month to like an indie gaming craze from the end of 2015 to a good part of 2016. And it was being overhyped, and it was being propelled with those whole random feel writing shit or whatever, alongside overused retro pixel graphics. So now, here's the question for you gamers. Is this game for you? If you want to play a game that glorifies the Tumblr millennial lifestyle, complete with random scenes praising assault on those who don't share your opinion, you'll love this game. If you're a furry who buys anything with anthropomorphic animals, then get your EBT card out and spend some money on this game. I mean, Uncle Sam's money, that is. If you want gameplay, well then there are so many other games. After all, this game was made for Tumblr Trash by Tumblr Trash, and if you look up a playthrough of this video game, then wow, you got the whole experience for free without spending a dime and your time playing this pile of trash. All in all, save your money on this game. There are so many better games you can get for the same amount of money. It's not even worth maybe 99 cents on a Steam sale, or even a penny, or even worth pirating. Yeah, it's that bad. Sorry gamers, but there are better games you can get for the same price. That's all that needs to be said. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.